professor, I will test you in the worst way. Don't bring that scantron, it's pop quizzes all day. Cause of our chemistry, we do biology.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail, right? He said $6,700 a month isn't enough. So, Choke No Joke, just did an interview with Marquise Jackson, who's 50 Cent's son, or Curtis Jackson's son, oldest son. And I don't know how they got on this conversation, because it's just like a 30-minute clip. But they started talking about the situation between him and his father, and he started talking about the financial part. And I found it interesting because his son is like, $6,700 a month ain't really no money. Now, I get what he's saying. He grew up privileged. So, but his father didn't grow up privileged. And I doubt his mother grew up privileged. So, at 25 years old, it seems like he wants to be accustomed to a certain lifestyle that he was, quote unquote, provided for by his father when he was younger. And there's some issues with this. Well, since you're grown now, I mean, since you like that, why don't you provide it for yourself? Since you got an issue with your dad and the way your dad did things, now it's your prime time to do it for yourself. And I'm using him as an example because this is brand new. This is a newer incident, but there's been a lot of entitlement with the children who are in their, I would say, mid-20s and under, because they didn't come up in the environments we came up in. So they're suburban kids. They're accustomed to a certain style of life, but the problem is their parents are probably from the hood, and they feel like they can bring that hood tactic. They have a reason. They can go back to their parents' roots of hood stuff and maybe even criminality because somehow they got it in them because their parent was doing that kind of stuff. And it's like, that's not how it works, but okay. But some other things that caught my attention about this was, the Forbes list. Was your dad on Forbes or he was on Forbes? And I remember a long time ago 50 Cent saying something about shoes, and he says, his mother say your dad, he's got a lot of money, he should buy you this, that, and the third. And he's talking to a classmate, and he was like, well, he has a certain amount of shoes, and he's like, but your dad's not on the Forbes list, mine is. So let me get this right. Because your dad's on the Forbes list, he's supposed to take care of you for the rest of your life, and you're not even responsible for yourself. And the other part of this that comes off aggravating is he's not taking responsibility for himself by the way he's talking, and he's not making sure his mother takes responsibility for him by the way he's talking. So the only person who's responsible for their life and lifestyle is his dad. Now, at some point, and I'm kind of jumping back and forth from what I heard, but at some point he was like, a man's job is to provide. But he provided, but it wasn't good enough because that ain't enough. So it's like, I want the money, I want the lifestyle, but let me get this right. But you didn't call me and come and give me a hug at the end of the night, and that's what I really wanted. So let's get this straight. You didn't want the money, you wanted the time, but you didn't want the time, but you want the money. So you want both, but you want them to be diametrically opposed. So it's basically a complaint you get to beat your dad over the head with whenever, you get stuck with you not really respecting your father or even not wanting to hang around him. Because at one point, Choke No Joke said, you don't even rock with your dad like that. And he just kind of like, let's skip over that. Let's just, whatever. And it's like, where is the common courtesy and the decency? He was beefing with everybody in the world. Okay? Did you get touched by that beef? No, you did not. No, you did not. You just made up a scenario where you were in danger when you grew up privileged. That wasn't your life. You wasn't beefing with nobody. Now the irony of this is, 50 Cent was in a lot of beefs. Some it was manufactured and some was real. But for the most part, everybody he's beefed with, for the most part, after the Ja Rule thing, they pretty much made cool. It's just Ja Rule, like, Murder Inc. and Game as of now. And I don't understand Game because he was in Houston cussing out 50 Cent, calling him all kind of names. But like a week or 2 weeks prior, it was Tycoon week. He could have came to Houston and said it to his face. But he didn't do that, but whatever. But this idea that, 6,700 a month isn't good enough, isn't enough, because you got so many things going on, and in the background it's other young adults like yourself, like complaining about what is enough and what's not enough. And I remember Choke asked him a question. He said, well, could you give your kids 6,700 a month right now if you had a kid? He's like, no, that's why I don't have kids. So you might not never have kids, because if I'm not mistaken, when you was born, your dad wasn't rich. So before you, and it's the problem, before y'all go down this path, why don't y'all get to that spot? Because a lot of y'all like to be on team mom, but you never ever want to walk in your dad's shoes because you know the weight of it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know the weight of it. Y'all know, oh, that's a lot. I don't want to do that. But I'm going to complain, but I really don't want to do that. Because if I was in that, he knows being in his mother's position was far easier than being in his father's position. So it comes off as fake to me, but that's just me. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace. I ain't not using a reference.